India is on the verge of a massive economic transformation. With a target of becoming a $10 trillion economy by 2030, the country is gearing up to join the ranks of the world's largest economic powers. But what exactly is driving this growth? Why are top investors betting on India's future, and what challenges lie ahead on this ambitious journey? In today's video, we'll break down the forces behind India's rise, from its booming startup ecosystem to the rapid expansion of its middle class. We'll also explore the infrastructure, technology, and policy changes that are shaping the country's trajectory. So, let's dive into India's path to economic dominance. Welcome to the AI Lib. India's goal of becoming a $10 trillion economy by 2030 isn't just an arbitrary number. It represents a vision of growth, global influence, and a better quality of life for millions. But to understand the significance of this ambition, we need to look at where India is today. Currently, the country is the fifth largest economy, and despite the challenges it faces, its growth trajectory is set to accelerate in the coming years. Key factors driving this growth include India's young and rapidly expanding population. With over 600 million people under the age of 25, India is poised to reap the benefits of this demographic dividend. These young individuals are not only entering the workforce in record numbers, but also shaping the country's innovation landscape, especially in tech and entrepreneurship. The government's push toward digital infrastructure is another major growth driver. Initiatives like Digital India have improved internet access and affordability, bringing more than 700 million Indians online. As urbanization accelerates, cities like Mumbai, Bengaluru, and Hyderabad are becoming hubs for economic activity, particularly in the tech sector. However, the challenge remains in ensuring that rural areas are not left behind in this growth story. For investors like AEL Bhatnagar, India's future represents an opportunity that goes beyond short-term gains. In 2014, Bhatnagar made the bold decision to turn down a high-paying consulting job in the US and return to India, betting on the country's long-term growth potential. At the time, India's economy was around $1.5 trillion, significantly smaller than today, but Bhatnagar saw an opportunity in the country's young population and growing middle class. Fast forward to today, and that bet is paying off. India is now home to over 100 unicorn startups, companies valued at over $1 billion. Major players like Flipkart, Zomato, and BYJUs are not only thriving domestically but expanding internationally. Bhatnagar's decision to invest in India's tech and startup ecosystem was rooted in the belief that the country's vast, untapped market and entrepreneurial spirit would fuel exponential growth. His experience highlights how taking a long-term view of India's growth potential can lead to substantial rewards for both investors and entrepreneurs. But Bhatnagar's story isn't unique. Investors across the globe are starting to recognize India's potential. Foreign direct investment, FDI, into the country is at an all-time high, with global tech giants like Google, Amazon, and Facebook pouring billions into Indian startups. This influx of capital is helping to accelerate growth, particularly in sectors like fintech, e-commerce, and education technology. India's economic rise can be viewed through the framework of Maslow's hierarchy of needs. For much of its history, India was focused on meeting the basic needs of its population, ensuring that people had access to food, shelter, and basic healthcare. However, as the country's economy has grown, so too has its ability to address higher-level needs like financial security, education, and personal fulfillment. Today, India is transitioning from the safety level of Maslow's hierarchy to esteem and self-actualization. This shift is evident in the rapid expansion of sectors like fintech and e-commerce, which are helping millions of Indians achieve financial stability and independence. Services like the Unified Payments Interface, UPI, have revolutionized the way people manage their money, enabling even those in rural areas to participate in the digital economy. But India's journey up Maslow's pyramid is far from complete. While urban areas are experiencing significant growth, millions of people in rural India still struggle to meet their basic needs. The country's vast economic divide means that businesses and governments must continue to focus on improving access to food, healthcare, and education for the most vulnerable populations. At the same time, India's growing middle class is driving demand for products and services that cater to higher-level needs, such as luxury goods, travel, and entertainment. At the heart of India's economic growth is its booming consumer market. As more people move into the middle class, consumption is driving demand across a wide range of industries, from retail to real estate. Currently, consumption accounts for more than 55% of India's GDP, a figure that is expected to grow significantly as incomes rise and more people gain access to financial services. This surge in consumption is being fueled by several key factors. First, India's growing urbanization is creating new markets for goods and services, particularly in major cities like Delhi, Mumbai, and Bengaluru. Second, the rise of digital platforms, including e-commerce giants like Amazon, Flipkart, and Reliance Retail, has made it easier than ever for consumers to access products online. This has led to a massive boom in online shopping, with millions of Indians purchasing everything from smartphones to groceries with just a few clicks. As consumer preferences evolve, so too does the nature of the Indian market. In the past, affordability was the main driver of consumer behavior. Today, however, an increasing number of Indian consumers are looking for premium products that offer not just functionality but also a sense of status and identity. This shift is particularly evident in sectors like fashion, electronics, and automotive, where demand for high-end brands is on the rise. However, challenges remain. While urban areas are benefiting from increased consumption, rural India still lags behind in terms of spending power and access to goods. Bridging this gap will be critical for sustaining India's long-term economic growth. Financial inclusion initiatives, such as the Pradhan Mantri Jan Dhan Yojana, which aims to provide every household with a bank account, are helping to address this issue by bringing more people into the formal economy. India's startup ecosystem has become a powerhouse of innovation, and it's showing no signs of slowing down. In the last decade, the country has produced over 100 unicorns, startups valued at more than $1 billion, making it one of the fastest-growing startup hubs in the world. From fintech to healthcare, Indian startups are solving critical problems with homegrown solutions tailored to the country's unique challenges. What makes India's startup scene so exciting is its diversity. While companies like Zomato and BYGUs are household names, countless other startups are emerging in sectors as varied as agritech, healthtech, and edtech. These startups are not only revolutionizing traditional industries, but also creating new markets and opportunities for growth. Much of this success can be attributed to the country's young, tech-savvy population, as well as government initiatives like Startup India and Digital India, which have made it easier for entrepreneurs to launch new ventures. Venture capital is also flowing into the country at record levels, with both domestic and foreign investors eager to tap into India's growing market. However, despite the rapid growth, startups in India still face challenges. Bureaucracy, regulatory hurdles, and inconsistent infrastructure can slow down progress, particularly in sectors like manufacturing and logistics. Addressing these issues will be key to ensuring that India's startup ecosystem continues to thrive in the years to come. India is steadily carving its place as a global technology leader. Once known primarily for its IT outsourcing giants like Infosys and Tata Consultancy Services, TCS, the country is now fostering homegrown innovation that is driving the next wave of technological advancements. The push toward Digital India has not only improved the country's digital infrastructure, but also laid the foundation for emerging sectors like artificial intelligence, AI, blockchain, and 5G. The rapid adoption of mobile technology, spurred by affordable data from companies like Reliance Jio, has been a game-changer. Today, even in remote areas, millions of Indians have access to high-speed internet. This has opened up new possibilities for e-commerce, fintech, and digital education, all while transforming the lives of everyday Indians. For example, India's Unified Payments Interface, UPI, has revolutionized the payments industry, with over 10 billion transactions being processed monthly. UPI's success showcases India's ability to leapfrog traditional banking systems and become a leader in digital financial services. Another area where India is making strides is blockchain. The government has been exploring how this technology can improve transparency and reduce fraud in sectors like supply chain management, land registration, and healthcare. Although India is still working through the regulatory framework for cryptocurrencies, the potential of blockchain extends far beyond digital currencies. Pilot projects using blockchain to secure property records or manage voting systems are just the beginning of what could be a much larger movement in the tech space. India is also poised to become a global hub for 5G technology. Telecom companies, led by Reliance Jio, are investing heavily in the rollout of 5G networks, which will open the door for innovations in smart cities, autonomous vehicles, and the Internet of Things, IoT. The next decade could see India leading the charge in these technologies, particularly as the country continues to expand its digital infrastructure. However, challenges remain, particularly in terms of research and development, R&D. While India produces some of the world's top tech talent, the country's R&D investment still lags behind that of global leaders like the US and China. If India is to remain competitive in fields like AI and quantum computing, significant investments in education and innovation will be crucial. Despite this, India's technology sector is on an upward trajectory, and its potential to shape the future of global tech is undeniable. One of the most significant drivers of India's economic growth is the rise of its middle class. Currently, India's middle class is around 350 million strong, but by 2030, it's expected to swell to nearly 800 million. This expanding consumer base is creating enormous opportunities across multiple sectors, from retail to real estate, and its spending power is driving demand for everything from smartphones to luxury cars. What sets this middle-class revolution apart is its speed. In just a few decades, millions of Indians have transitioned from living in poverty to becoming active consumers in the economy. This shift is fueling a surge in domestic consumption, which already accounts for more than half of India's GDP. As incomes rise, more and more Indians are purchasing not just essentials but discretionary goods, clothing, electronics, and entertainment, to name a few. The middle-class boom is particularly evident in urban areas, where rising incomes have led to a proliferation of shopping malls, restaurants, and high-end retail stores. Tech products, like smartphones and laptops, have become household staples, with brands like Apple seeing explosive growth in the Indian market. The real estate sector is also benefiting, as more middle-class families seek to buy homes in India's rapidly expanding cities. This surge in consumption is also influencing sectors like travel and tourism. As more Indians move into the middle class, travel, both domestic and international, is becoming a priority. India's middle-class families are spending more on leisure activities, from vacations to entertainment, further boosting the country's service economy. However, the growth of the middle class is not uniform. Rural India, where a significant portion of the population still lives, is seeing slower income growth. While urban middle-class consumers are enjoying increased access to financial services, luxury goods, and education, millions in rural areas remain focused on meeting basic needs. Bridging this gap will be essential for India's long-term economic success, and the government has introduced various schemes aimed at uplifting rural populations and integrating them into the formal economy. As India's economy grows, its cities are rapidly expanding, both in population and in infrastructure development. Urbanization is one of the key factors driving India's economic transformation, with cities like Mumbai, Delhi, Bengaluru, and Pune becoming economic powerhouses. In fact, regions like the Mumbai-Pune corridor and Delhi NCR are expected to generate more than $500 billion in GDP by 2030, acting as engines of growth for the entire country. The integration between Mumbai and Pune, for example, is creating a dynamic economic zone that's drawing significant investment. New infrastructure projects, such as expressways, metro systems, and commercial real estate developments, are making it easier for businesses to operate and for people to move around these growing cities. The construction of major projects like the Trans-Harbour Link in Mumbai is also reducing travel times, making cities more accessible and improving productivity. India's urbanization is not just about expanding existing cities, it's about creating entirely new ones. Smart cities, designed with the latest technology and sustainable practices, are part of the government's long-term plan to manage the challenges of rapid urban growth. These cities are equipped with smart grids, efficient public transportation, and advanced waste management systems, all aimed at making urban living more sustainable. However, India's infrastructure still faces major challenges. While metro systems are being built and highways expanded, much of the country still suffers from poor roads, unreliable electricity, and inadequate water supply, particularly in rural areas. Addressing these issues is critical for India's economic future. The government's ambitious infrastructure projects, under initiatives like Bharatmala and Sagarmala, are aimed at improving connectivity across the country, but these will take time to complete. Despite these challenges, India's urbanization is creating huge opportunities. As cities grow, demand for housing, commercial spaces, and public services is increasing, creating a vibrant real estate market and driving growth in the construction industry. Moreover, the influx of foreign investment in urban infrastructure projects is helping to modernize India's cities and make them more competitive on the global stage. Foreign direct investment, FDI, has played a crucial role in India's economic transformation. In 2020 alone, India attracted over $65 billion in FDI, making it one of the world's top investment destinations. Global giants like Google, Amazon, and Facebook have recognized the immense potential of the Indian market, pouring billions into the country's tech startups and infrastructure projects. But what exactly is driving this surge in foreign investment, and how is it shaping India's path to becoming a $10 trillion economy? A major factor is the creation of economic zones, particularly around cities like Mumbai, Pune, and Delhi. These zones are designed to attract both domestic and international investors by offering incentives such as tax breaks, easier regulatory processes, and improved infrastructure. The Mumbai-Pune corridor, for instance, is rapidly emerging as a key hub for manufacturing and technology, with both cities benefiting from enhanced connectivity and economic integration. In addition to these zones, the Indian government has introduced policies aimed at making it easier for foreign companies to invest in the country. Reforms like the Goods and Services Tax, GST, and the liberalization of FDI norms have streamlined the process of doing business in India, making it an attractive option for multinational corporations. Sectors like e-commerce, renewable energy, and manufacturing have all seen significant FDI inflows, driving growth and innovation. However, challenges remain, particularly when it comes to regulatory hurdles and bureaucratic red tape. Despite the government's efforts to simplify investment procedures, many foreign companies still face delays and complexities when entering the Indian market. Additionally, inconsistent infrastructure in some parts of the country can make it difficult for foreign firms to scale their operations. Despite these challenges, the outlook for FDI in India is bright. The country's large consumer base, combined with its growing digital infrastructure and government incentives, makes it a prime destination for investment. As India continues to attract foreign capital, these investments will play a key role in accelerating the country's growth and helping it achieve its $10 trillion economic target. While India's economic potential is undeniable, the country still faces significant challenges when it comes to regulatory and bureaucratic hurdles. For entrepreneurs and investors alike, navigating the maze of regulations, permits, and approvals can be a daunting task. Bureaucratic inefficiencies and inconsistent regulatory policies have long been a barrier to doing business in India, particularly for foreign firms unfamiliar with the complexities of the Indian legal system. One of the most significant regulatory challenges is the complexity of India's tax system. While the introduction of the Goods and Services Tax, GST, has simplified tax collection, issues such as tax compliance and enforcement remain problematic for many businesses. Moreover, state-level regulations can vary widely, creating additional complications for companies looking to expand across India's diverse regions. Another issue is the lack of consistent policy frameworks for emerging industries, such as cryptocurrency and artificial intelligence. While India has made significant strides in areas like digital payments and Fintech, the regulatory environment for newer technologies is still evolving. This has created uncertainty for companies operating in these sectors, as they are unsure of how future regulations might impact their business models. To address these challenges, the Indian government has been implementing a series of reforms aimed at improving the ease of doing business. Initiatives like Startup India have introduced tax benefits and reduced compliance burdens for new ventures. Similarly, the Make in India campaign has focused on attracting manufacturing firms by offering incentives like reduced red tape and access to land. Despite these reforms, there is still a long way to go. The government's focus on reducing bureaucratic delays and simplifying regulatory processes is essential for ensuring that India's business environment becomes more conducive to both domestic and foreign investment. As the country moves toward its $10 trillion goal, further regulatory reforms will be crucial for maintaining investor confidence and fostering long-term economic growth. A key theme in India's economic story is the role of entrepreneurship and the need to unlock greater ambition among the country's young innovators. While India is home to some of the world's most talented entrepreneurs, there is often a gap between the potential and the ambition to scale businesses to global heights. This is where the role of investors, mentors, and venture capitalists becomes critical. As Ael Bhatnagar mentioned, many young entrepreneurs in India start with ideas that are innovative but often lack the ambition to scale beyond a certain point. This isn't due to a lack of talent, but rather a lack of exposure and mentorship. For many first-time entrepreneurs, building a company with revenues of a few crores feels like an enormous success. However, investors like Bhatnagar believe that unlocking the full potential of these entrepreneurs requires encouraging them to think bigger, about building billion-dollar companies, about expanding globally, and about solving problems at scale. This ambition unlock can come in various forms. For one, having access to successful role models, such as the founders of Zomato, BYJUs, or Paytm, helps younger entrepreneurs visualize what's possible. Second, investors play a key role by providing not only capital but also guidance and strategic insights. Early-stage funding, paired with mentorship, can help startups avoid common pitfalls and push them toward greater success. The venture capital ecosystem in India has evolved significantly in recent years, with both local and international VCs actively investing in early-stage companies. These investors are not just looking for returns. They are helping to shape the next generation of Indian entrepreneurs by pushing them to aim higher and think globally. India's potential to produce global tech giants is immense, but realizing this potential will require a mindset shift. By encouraging greater ambition, providing mentorship, and supporting entrepreneurs with the right tools, India can create the conditions for its startups to grow into globally competitive companies. This ambition unlock will be a key factor in driving India's economic transformation in the years to come. As India's economy continues to grow, several emerging sectors are poised to become major drivers of economic activity in the coming years. Healthtech, Fintech, Agritech, and renewable energy are all seeing significant growth, and many companies in these industries are preparing to go public, marking a new era of IPOs in India. Healthtech, in particular, is experiencing rapid innovation, driven by a need to provide healthcare to India's vast population. Startups are developing telemedicine platforms, AI-powered diagnostic tools, and affordable healthcare solutions that have the potential to revolutionize the sector. Fintech continues to lead the way with innovations in digital payments, lending, and financial inclusion, while Agritech is addressing the unique challenges faced by India's agricultural sector, from supply chain inefficiencies to unpredictable weather patterns. These sectors are not only attracting venture capital, but are also preparing for initial public offerings, IPOs. Companies like Policy Bazaar, Nykaa, and Freshworks have already made headlines with successful IPOs, and many more are expected to follow. The growing appetite for public listings reflects the maturity of India's startup ecosystem and the confidence investors have in these emerging sectors. As India's IPO market heats up, the country is set to see a wave of newly public companies driving growth and innovation. These IPOs will not only provide liquidity to investors, but will also help solidify India's reputation as a global tech and innovation hub. So, what do you think? Will India's $10 trillion future be fueled by its expanding middle class, booming startups, and ambitious entrepreneurs? Or will the challenges of bureaucracy and infrastructure slow it down? If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell icon so you don't miss any future updates. Check out the videos appearing on your screen right now for more insights and stories from the world of technology. This is the AI Lib. Stay tuned.